So we are on Kuf Zayin, 107.
The Gemara. Huh?
Yeah, Masechta Shabbos, Kuf Zayin, starting the Gemara. Did everyone sign in? Who was supposed to sign in?
No. Only us four.
Okay.
But Peter, I can see you still.
You can see me? I can't see myself.
No, I can't see
No.
Peter.
No.
There's something wrong. I've got to restart the computer, but I don't want to do that. I'd rather just carry on learning.
All
Okay.
right.
Amra Baba Barashi Amara. Let me put in the just to say that we're starting. If a bird flew in on his own underneath a person's coat, so he doesn't have to release it. He didn't trap it. The bird got trapped by himself, and therefore he can sort of sit there, keep his jacket closed. He doesn't have to open up his jacket like opening up a window. He's just being shomered, like we had in the Mishnah. And therefore, at the end of Shabbos, he can take the bird. So Rav Nachman asks a question from our case in the Mishnah. We had a case where somebody, Ruvain, came and sat in the doorway of a house where a deer had gone into, and where he sat, he filled up the whole door frame. So in essence, the first guy, Ruvain, already trapped the deer. Right? A second person comes and sits parallel to him, also blocking the door, sort of behind him, more on the outside. Now, if the first guy gets up and walks away, now l'chura, the second guy is doing the same. However, only the Rishon is chayiv, v'asheni potter, because we understand that once it was trapped by the first guy, that was it. My love. Now, but it doesn't mean that the second guy, l'chura, can do it, can sit there and it's mutter for him to do it, because when the Mishnah said potter means you don't have to bring a chatas, but it's potter aval throughout Shabbos. Whenever it says potter, it means potter, but you can't do it. Midrabanan, it's osir. And that's the Gemara's understanding. How could you tell me that the guy where the bird flew into his jacket, he can be shoymerit lechatchila, that it's mutter to be shoymerit, since he's not the one who trapped it? The Mishnah says potter aval osir. It's not permitted to do it. It says lo potter umutter. Our Mishnah is an example, which is an unusual example, where when it says potter, it's also permitted. And it makes sense, miditani seifa, from the fact that we see in the seifa lamaza doime, the Mishnah itself compared it l'doel is based on l'shamro. Person locked up his house because he wanted to lock up his valuables. He didn't know that there was a deer there. V'nimtza tzvi shomer b'tocho. So you're allowed to do it. Mechlal de potter mutter. Shema mina, it's a good raya from our Mishnah that it is, in fact, permitted. There's another approach of how this sugya was learned. That Rav Nachman said, I have a baraisa, that when a second guy comes and sits there, that it's potter and my love potter and mutter. And Rav Nachman understood that it's permitted. Versus lo potter of a lasser. So the Gemara then asks, "Habinditani seifa halamaz adomi lanolas beishon shomer nitzat tzvi shomer betocho mechlal de potter mutter." From that raya that we said, it seems that it's permitted. Shema mina, that it's permitted. And now we're going to be given more of a list regarding Shabbos of things that were permitted, not just potter of a lasser, but potter mutter. Omer Shmuel Kol P'tur de Shabbos Potter Avaloser. Throughout Masechta Shabbos, where it says Potter, it means you're not Chayav Achatis, but it's not permitted to do. Lebar Mahani Tlas the Potter Mutter, except for the three exceptions, where it says Potter, it means Mutter. Chada Ha. One example is this that we just learned. Umimai de Potter Mutter. Diktani Sefer Lamazid Doim Elanos Beis L'Shav Nitzatz L'Shav B'Toch. The Idich, one of the other ones, maybe Smor Shabbos. Person has a boil on his arm, and there's pus. So, and he drains it. He makes an incision in it. Now, if his intent is to create a permanent window in this boil, but because that is similar to what boina was in the Mishkan. But if the whole point of opening it up is just so that the pus will flow out, that was his kavanah potter. And it's not just potter, it's permitted. That a needle is not muktzah, because you can always have it to remove a thorn that is in a person's flesh. And so therefore it's not muktzah, because it's permitted to do that. The idich, what's the third case? Hatzad nachash b'Shabbos. If a person traps a snake, if you're dealing with the snake to avoid being bitten by it, then it's potter, because it's not like you want the snake's venom for a certain person. You just want to, you want to keep away from you. But if you're trapping a snake because you need its venom, because you're making anti-venom, chayiv. Now, umimai, where do you see that when it says it's potter, it's permitted? It's not. Koifin ka'ar laner. If you have a candle that's burning on Shabbos, and you're concerned that it's gonna cause a fire, it's gonna catch your wood on fire, you're allowed to put a kli over it. The outsole shel cotton, and you can cover the tsoy of a cotton. And you can cover a scorpion so it won't bite. In the mela you're hunting it. That's because it's not like you need the scorpion for something that it has. No, you're covering it to prevent the scorpion from coming at you. So, and there it's not just potter, it's potter mutter. So these are the three examples. New Perek Arbasar, 14th Perek, Shmona Shvatzim. Shmona Shvatzim Amun B'Toira. There are 8 creeping, crawling creatures. The pasuk says, "Zelachem atamei, basheretz hasharetz ala aretz, hacholed, the ha'achbar, the hatzav limineu, the ha'anaka, the ha'koach, the ha'alta'a, the ha'chamat, the ha'tinsham." Some of these things we know what they are. Some of the things we don't know what they are. It's like a mouse or a rat, or like a lizard or a bat. And there's others that they're not sure what they are. Now, if you trap them or if you wound them, you're chayiv. Because people trap these things. Rashi says shibimino nitzod. It's not an unusual thing. It's not trapped or hunted. And Rashi says if you wound them, you're chayiv. Anything that has a skin or a hide is going to be a chabura sheina choseres, and it's going to be considered a told of shoichet. Or Rashi says, since it's had hide, And if you cause the bleeding there, it's going to turn color. And so one shot is your chayv mishum tzoveya, painting, coloring. That's why you're chayv choyv, because it has or. Ushar shkotzim ramoshim, the other shkotzim ramoshim that are not listed as the shmoneh, hachoyvel behen potter, because they don't have or. So they don't fulfill either tzviya or shkita. Now, let's say you're hunting them because you need them for some reason. I mean, remember, we learn hunting from in the Mishkan where they hunted the chilazo because they needed the dye in a chilazo and a snail. The murex snail had the color that made tchelas. So they didn't hunt it to get rid of it. They hunted it because they needed something from the animal. So in all these cases, atzadin l'tzoyrech chayiv, but shalol l'tzorech, for example, to keep it away from you, or it's a type of species that was not hunted, then it would be potter. Now, chayiv oath shibershu. So you have an animal, a deer or a bird that's already in your reshus, had sudden potter, because they've already been trapped. However, of course, they have or, they have chay and oath have or, so therefore chavola there's be a chi of chavola. Meaning tanya choyvel ben chayiv. So the Shmona Shrotzim started off by saying that if you make a wound in them, they're chayiv michlal de islahu or. It implies that the Shmona Shrotzim have or. So Montana, who must be the author of our Mishnah? Amar Shmuel Rav Yochanan ben Nuri. Must be Rav Yochanan ben Nuri. This nan. Rav Yochanan ben Nuri oimer. Shmona Shrotzim yesh lehen oimers. Rav Yochanan ben Nuri says that the unique thing about the Shmona Shrotzim is they have or. And therefore, there's a halachic ramification, because the Shmona Shrotzim are metame. If they die, their corpse is metame, like it's a sheretz. But only their basar, only the muscle underneath the skin is metame. And since they have or, he says they have a distinct or. The or is not metame like the basar. The Chachamim disagree that that the or is not distinct in the Shmona Shrotzim, and the or, as well as the or, will be metami just like the basar. So Shmuel wants to say that our Mishnah must be only Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. They're equating the dinim of Tumah v'Tahara regarding or to the case of Chavon. Rabbi Baron Amar have nothing to do. Afilu Temer Rabbanon. No. Our Mishnah could also be Rabbanon, who over there by Tumah v'Tahara say that or is like the basar and it's not like distinct. I'd come to pick Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri in Tumah. There they argue by Tumah. D'chsiv Eila Tmoim Lachem. What is that additional statement for? The rabbis show I was saying, keep sorry. There it actually is a Xeris HaKosu, a pasuk to tell me that their or is metame you like the basar. Avalinian Shabbos, when it comes to Shabbos of Rabbanon, they're not saying they don't have an or. They have an or. Over there, there's a special pasuk to say that there the or is treated like the basar. But they don't say that there's no separation between a Shmona Sheretz's hide and its basar and a chanami. It's a separate organ. And therefore, if you make a chavola in it, if you wound them, you would be chayiv. So if right now we have a machlokes amiroim between Shmuel and Rav Huna, who the author of our Mishnah is. Shmuel says it's got to be Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, and Rav Huna says no, it could be L'divrei HaKol, even the Chachamim. Freit the Gemara, only in Shabbos lo pligi. I'll show you that they do argue. You want to say that Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri and the Chachamim maybe agree regarding Shabbos, I'll show you they do it. They disagree by Shabbos as well. Atan. It says in the Baraisa, if you hunt one of the Shmona Shrotzim and then you wound them, or Ella Lamasha Manu Chachamim. In Perek, in Shchitas Chulin, in another Masechta, the Chachamim give us a list of Elu Sho'arisin Kipsar. There are some Shrotzim where the or is like its basar. Or Rashi says that seems to be not correct. It's probably a non-authenticated baraisa that Lamash Marchoma means ein lam or. I mean, they don't have or at all. So you see that there is a machlokes regarding Chavola by Shabbos. It's not that they don't argue by Shabbos. They do argue by Shabbos as well, just like they argue by Tumah. The Gemara says, what do you mean? Adi Rabbi Lamasha Mana Chachamim ein lahem or. What the Chacham mentions ein lahem or. V'amar Abayi Kamar. And Abayi says, this is how I used to read it. Ein or cholok mi basar. That or is not separatable from basar Lamasha Shalom Mana Chacham, except for what the Chachamim did not mention. So he didn't understand how the Girsa could be switched by Amarle Rava. Ha Lamasha Mana Chachamim Kamar. You can't switch and say Lamasha Lo Manu. It says very clearly Lamasha Manu. Ela Amar Rava Hachi Kamar. Ein or metame kebasar, that the hide is not metame you like basar. El Lamasha Manu, except for what the Chachamim pointed out, which ones they are. Michlav Rav Yochanan Nuri Hanachnami Laman Chachamim metame. So you see, according to Rav Yochanan Nuri, the ones that were not mentioned by Chachamim are also metame. He makes no distinction between the Shmona Shrotzim. And v'haktani Rav Yochanan Nuri oim Shmona Shrotzim Yeshon Ha'aretz v'lo metame. And Rabbi Yochanan clearly said that there are Shmona Shrotzim that have hide and are not metame. So Amar Vada Bar Masa Tritz Hachi. This is how you have to explain. Chachamim oimrim le'inyan tuma ein or l'man shemar chachamim. But regarding Shabbos, they hold that there's an or. So we're back to resuscitating the concept that the Chacham Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri only argue by Tumah, but they don't argue. Perhaps they don't argue by Shabbos. I'll show you they do argue. When those shrotzim that have an or. And what's the kind of chabor that does not heal? For example, you get a hematoma, right? The blood accumulates underneath the or, even though it doesn't come out. That's a Tanakam. Not just only b'shrotzim shleish noris. So you see, there is a machlokes between Rav Yochanan and the Chachamim regarding Shabbos as well. So then the question is, who is the author of our Mishnah? On Rav Ashi, Man Tanakam Rav Yehuda. It's a new Tana. Rav Yehuda, the Oslo Basar Gishta. He's not machalek. He doesn't make a differentiation between Shwatz based on the psukim. He does it based on an examination of what they feel like. Does it feel like this sheretz, its hide feels different than the basar or not? This not. Rav Yehuda Omer, hal ta'ah kachulda. The hal ta'ah, which I think is some kind of like lizard, is like a chulda, which is like a weasel. Regarding its or. So the Chachamim who argue with Rabbi Yochanan in Tumah in Shabbos Moedim. But in Chanami they agree by Shabbos Chavola. It shouldn't have said Hi Div Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. It should say Div Rabbi Yochanan Machlakusa Boy, because it's Rabbi Yochanan and the Chachamim, the people who argue with him. So the Gemara agrees to need Div Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri Machlakusa because they don't argue. Where do we see a right that these are when you do a chavola, it doesn't heal properly. Deceive. Hayafoch kushi oro v'namer chaberusa. Can you make a leopard lose its spots? And can you switch a black person's skin to white? Now, my chaberusa. What do we mean by chaberusa? Are you talking about these are the spots of a leopard? Chaberusa. Namir doesn't have chaberusa, they have gvanav maboyme. Those are called gvanav. Ella has nothing to do with the namir part. It's the kukushi. Ma ora de kushi choseres. For example, if a black person gets a wound in his skin, and then it heals, oftentimes it heals as a white scar because they lose the melanin, the melanocytes that are in the skin that gives the skin a black color will turn white and it doesn't turn black anymore. Similarly, av chabura and choseres. So too, chabura does not come back. If chabura can heal, it's not considered a chavola. Then we said, shar shkotzim, you could trap, but the Gemara's medayek hahorgan chayiv. But if you kill them, you'd be chayiv for killing. Man Tana, who is the Tana? The Tana of Lezer, if you kill a louse on Shabbos, it's as if you killed a camel on Shabbos. That means how low down on the biological chain can you, if you kill them on Shabbos, you would be not chayiv. So Rabbi Eliezer says, even lice, if you kill a lice, it's like you killed a regular animal. The Chachonim don't agree. Maskil Rabbi Yosef, you know what? The Chachonim don't argue. By Akina, because they ain't a parvarava. It doesn't reproduce. Aval sharshkots and ramoshim to parvaravim lo pligi. But by other animals that have sexual reproduction, there's no machlokes. They both hold that if you can't kill them on Shabbos. Ushneim lo lamdu ela me'eli. And what animals they killed? Elim ha'adami. There were these rams that had these beautiful colored hides that we use for the kisei mishkan. And a ram. So Rabbi Eliezer said, "Ke'elim ma'elim sheish b'netilas neshama." You kill a ram. I've called sheish b'netilas neshama. Well, a louse is also alive, and therefore you can't kill it. However, Rabbanan Savri, we don't look at life. Department of Ravim, rams reproduce. I've called the part of Ravim. Now remember, we're talking about a Talmudic medicine, where they thought there was something called spontaneous generation, where this was a debate that went on until Leeuwenhoek, until 1700, till they had a microscope. Because they would look at pieces of meat, rotted pieces of meat, they would see flies, maggots. And they thought that it was spontaneous generation, that these didn't come through some kind of sexual reproduction. We know now that these are flies that laid eggs, but they were microscopic, you didn't see them. So it was regular biology. It wasn't, there used to be a thought that life could arise spontaneously. And that was Galenic medicine, which was Galen was a Roman physician, and his theories lasted until modern times. So the Talmud understood that a louse didn't have normal sexual reproduction. So the Chachamim said, Eilim, my Eilim, I've called it Parvarava, but not a kina. Amalei Abaya, the kina ain't Parvarava. So already Abaya said a kina reproduces. Amarav, Yoshev HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Zan, Mikarni Re'emim V'Beit Sekinim. Kadosh Baruch Hu provides mezonos, every creature from the Re'em, which is like a huge elephant, a mammoth, until the eggs of Kinim. Now, if Kinim have eggs, obviously they reproduce. Whereas there's no riot from there. Mina hu demikri Beit Sekinim. No, it's not talking about eggs of Kinim. It's a different species called Beit Sekinim. I vatanya tfuye u Beit Sekinim. So lechura and tfuye is some kind of louse. So mino demikri, again, that's no raya that Beit Sekinim means the eggs of louse. It means it's a separate species called Beit Sekinim, which is a different animal, but it has priya v'reviyah, but kinim do not. Afraid to more very porish the parvarav. Porish is like a mosquito, some kind of insect, and it does sexually reproduce. And there's no argument. Vitanya had sad porish b'Shabbos. Rabbi Ezra Mechayev, Rabbi Yeshua Poiter. Rabbi Yeshua represents the Chachamim. So I thought you told me that if it has priya review, there's no machlokes. Chachamim would agree that if you kill it, you're chayiv. Here, Rabbi Yeshua says you're not chayiv. Rav Ashi, there it says hatzad. It doesn't say kill. Sidach hariga karadi. You asked me a kasha from Han. There are live things that you can trap. There's machlokes there whether these are things that that people go after and trap them. Rabbi Ezra says you do. Rabbi Yeshua says you don't. But you can't ask me a kasha regarding hunting versus killing. Right? I'd come up to the Rabbi Ezra, Rabbi Yeshua, the Mar Savra Dor Shem Bimino Nitza Chayiv. Mar Savra Parah. Valina Riga feel Rabbi Yeshua Moide. Rabbi Yeshua will agree that a parush that knows Pru Revu. Okay. Now the other thing that we know now scientifically is that some creatures they have asexual reproduction. They don't need male and female. And that could be a machlokes between Rabbi Ezra and the Chachamim, that Chachamim required regular male-female fertilization, all that. But animals that fertilize themselves and have asexual reproduction, perhaps there could have been enough. That could be the source of the machlokes between Rabbi Ezra and the Chachamim. Vait. Hatzad and Letzoy Rechai. We said if you hunt them for the purpose, because you need their hide, you need something, then it's chayiv. If you hunt them just to get rid of them because you don't want them around, then you would be put. Again, who is that? Remember, we have a concept. The malacha, like the classic case is a corpse in your house. If you take it outside from Rishus HaYachid, Rishus HaRabim, so the effect of malacha was when you took something out from inside to outside because you wanted to use it outside. Like I take a board from Rishus HaYachid to Rishus HaRabim because I was going to use it outside. But here, I don't want to use the corpse outside. I just want to get rid of the corpse from my house. So that's a malacha she'nitzrich lagufa. And Rabbi Shimon says you're potter. Rabbi Yehuda says you're chayiv. But our Mishnah that seems to make a difference, whether letzorach or not letzorach, must be according to Rabbi Shimon, because by trapping the animal because you don't want it, not because you want it, that's a malacha she'nitzrich lagufa. You be potter. Other people, maybe it's more Shabbos. Somebody opens up a boil on Shabbos to drain the pus. So if you want to open up this thing because you want this thing to have a mouth permanently, so that's a malacha shetzrich lagufa. But no, you just wanted to get rid of the pus that's their potter. Now manta, no. I mean, other people learned it on the third case. For Shabbos, if you're trapping a snake on Shabbos, if you're just doing it. So it shouldn't bite you. It's not like you need the snake for venom. That would be a malacha shetzrich legufa, but just because you're keeping it away from you, you'd be potter. Im l'refu chayiv. Now, mantana. Remember, Rabbi Yehuda would say you're chayiv no matter what, because he holds even malacha shetzrich legufa you're chayiv. So that's why the Gemara is forced to say that these Tanaitic statements have to be only Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon, he damer malacha shetzrich legufa potter aleh. Okay. Amar Shmuel, hashoyle dag min hayam. You take a fish on Shabbos out of the water. Once it dries up, a dried spot on the fish that's the size of a coin, so you killed it. You'd be chayav for shchita, for killing. It's not anywhere in the fish that it's got to be a size of a sela dry, between its fins. And Amar Avashi lo tema yavish mamish. It doesn't have to be completely dry. Elafilu de avid riri. It just has, it's a little mucusy. There will also be enough dryness. Amar Mar Bar Hamduri Amar Shmuel. You stick your hand into a pregnant animal and you separate the uber from its uterus. Chayiv. You're chayiv for killing. Even the l'chura, it wasn't born yet, because you separated it from its source of life. My time, Amrav, but I'm doing as we love Amrav Sheish Haiman, the tallest shuta means bibigi. For example, if you pulled out shutas like weeds that grow on top of thorns, now this shuta doesn't grow directly from the ground; it grows from the thorn. And Rashi says merecha karka. And you're mechayiv, even though it's not mechuber, because but it still drew its sustenance from his mivihigni. Hachanami here as well. When you separate the fetus from its mother's umbilical cord, mechayiv shemoy kadavar migidulo. You're chayiv for the same reason, like you were chayiv over there. And the Rambam says, if you put your hand, the mebehema of a dildal, if a uja you're chayiv as well. Some say you're chayiv mishum netilas neshama. Some say since it wasn't born, you can't say it's chayiv mamish, and therefore you're not chayiv mishum netilas neshama. It's from mishum akiri makam gidul. It's like you were koitzer, like you cut a piece of wheat from a ground. The Meiri says it's if the animal dies right away, then you'd be chayiv. Others say you're chayiv mishum koitzer, like we said, like you're like cutting a piece of wheat from the ground. Okay, so tomorrow 7:30 in the morning.